Good morning and welcome back to the show. It's been a minute. Wow, it's been a minute. How much did we miss them?
Lots of. Happy 2021.
Happy New Year. Where are you guys from? To Virginia, I saw. Espresso's back, y'all, and today we're talking about how 2020 was not your enemy.
Ooh. Good morning, you guys. I see some new faces in the house. Hey, if this is your very first time being on the show, then please do us a favor. Drop a comment. Tell us where you're from so that we can welcome you in a true ENS fashion. If this is not your first time, then you can comment below and say, not a first timer, and tell us where you're from.
OG. Does anybody notice something right now for the OGs in the house? Why does Sarit look taller than me right now? This is a life hack. This is a shorty life hack.
That is weird, actually.
Shorty life hack. Raise your chair.
What the heck was that?
It's so funny, something just fell from the ceiling. Oh, we got New York in the house. We got North Carolina. I saw. We got, where's everybody from? Maybe it's delayed.
I think it is delayed. They haven't, at this point, they haven't said where they're from. So now it's coming.
Wisconsin, I see. We got Texas, Kansas. Keep them rolling. Where are we from? Stacy's an OG. Let's give a huge shout out to our team also, who most likely all of them are here. We got Ashley Riddle as a Chief of Happiness. We got coaches L-Dub, Lauren W, Lauren Koch. We got Crystal Catalina. We got, who else is in the house? We got Cez is probably somewhere up in here.
Depending on what time it is in New
Depending on,
Zealand.
yeah, no, she's probably not actually. We got Iowa in the house. West Coast OG. Amazing.
Epic.
We are so glad to have you guys back.
And a shout out to Tammy.
And Tammy, who freaking runs the whole ordeal here. You guys know.
The whole Facebook ship.
How could I? Tammy, I owe you.
Okay, so let's begin with a few housekeeping things.
Okay, let's do
just
that.
to set the stage, and then we'll talk about 2020.
Amazing.
Okay, so you guys, if you haven't yet signed up for the 14-day transformation Kickstarter challenge, it is starting today. Okay, so just so you guys know, we will be going live every single day for the 14 days to discuss the daily challenge. Okay, so we run challenges in a very different manner, in the sense that, you know, our intention is to add as much value to you as possible. Okay, so yes, you receive a whole bunch of stuff. Yes, you have an opportunity to win prizes. You know, if you're actually serious about taking this seriously, and you are competitive in nature, then awesome. If not, that's cool. You can still be serious about it without being competitive about it. But in order to make sure that you guys have as much clarity as possible so that you can execute the intended challenge of the day in a smooth manner, we will be going live every day at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time for the next 14 days. So I recommend that if you are doing this challenge, make sure to add that to your calendars right now. Because we will be doing this on the Facebook group, let's say if you're unavailable at this time, totally understand. We don't expect you guys to be. Just make sure that you catch the recording later. And maybe we can do like a watch party every afternoon. Okay, the reality is that it's very straightforward. You receive an email about the day, about the challenge, basically the night before. Okay, also in your manual, you know everything and what's expected. Okay, but we do understand that everybody likes to execute their life in a different manner. Some prefer through email, others prefer through just, give me the stuff and I will do it. Others are like, I want as much hands-on as possible. Okay, so we're gonna basically try to touch you from all angles, be it video, be it email, be it through the material. Know that for as long as you have registered, you will be receiving communication from us in many, many ways. Okay, so at this point, you just have options and you have to choose whatever works best for you, or hey, maybe all of the above. It's up to you. So,
do you see that they're laughing?
Yep.
What can they possibly be laughing at?
I said that on purpose.
In case you got, I'm sure you did. In case you guys are new to espresso, it is important that you know English is Sarit's second language. Sometimes she says things funny. Also, it's important for you to know, and this is extremely important, and you may see in the comments the hashtag I'm 12, because I am 12. So when she says we're going to try to touch you from all angles, you're disgusting. She did not mean it that way. But anyways, that's my housekeeping.
Great. Okay. So
Wonderful.
let's get to it.
So we are talking about, Sarit's not sure. We, on our drive home from the holidays that we spent in Utah, we were deciding all of the topics that we were going to talk about, which may or may not change, but sometimes it's hard to remember what the heck we wrote down, and that's why we write it down.
Yeah.
So today we are talking about how 2020 was not your enemy, and why it is important for you to think that way. My first thought is we're all searching for this thing that's like happiness. We're all searching to be happy. I just want to be happy. And maybe we all have our own different definitions of that. But if you want to find happiness, the blaming has to stop. Now. And what I mean is, if you're going to blame anything, the only thing we have the right to blame is ourselves. Because so many things in life happen outside of our control. And for you to blame, for me to blame, for Sarit to blame, anything that happens outside of our control just makes us a victim. And my guess is that nobody wants to be a victim. Unfortunately, we're really good as a society at putting ourselves as the victim when we don't have to be. So, the purpose of this conversation is to say, okay, what do we have control over? What do we not have control over? What's our responsibility? And how do we choose how we respond to things so that we can be happy? Our live just hit 100, and that is a PR. Boom! That's amazing. We are so glad for all 101 of you that just showed up for a half a second. That was amazing.
I love it. I love it. So, the reason why we wanted to start off the year by talking about that is because, every year in general, in society, everybody says, new year, new me. Like this year's, we were laughing about it in the car because, it seems as if it was the same for 2020 and 2019, and every year, like, towards the end of the year, the general consensus of the population is that, man, this year sucked. Next year is going to be way better. Now, 2020, and like I've heard it so many times. Like, in fact, the reason why I'm saying it is because I've taken notes in 2017, 2018, 2019, I remember some spiritual groups were even like justifying how certain things were happening with the stars in 2018, and 2019 is showing to be way better. And then in 2019, everybody was like, man, you know, I can't wait to get into a new decade, 2020. 2020 was an absolute shit show, so everybody just wants to get it over with. But, you know, the truth is, you guys, is that it's up to us to make life great. Because 2020 was an absolute shit show for everybody. But it's up to you to turn it around each and every day. And we say this all the times that, you know, we're all just, you know, one day away from having a terrible day. And it's the truth. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? How are we going to respond? And that is the intention of this conversation, because I guarantee you that, especially if you're planning, if you're doing the challenge, it's because you want to start off 2021 strong. But here's the thing, you guys, we're all one day away from having a bad day. So what happens if on January the 8th, you're having a shitty day? Are you going to wait till 2022? Dude, F that, because a new year changes every 365 days. But if you have the tools to change your mind and to change your thinking so that you don't have to wait to the next year to do a reset, you just got ahead by, what's 365 minus 8? 357 days. Your bounce back rate has increased by 357 days, and that's what I call progress. It is epic, and we're so happy and grateful to see 98 people in the room today on Monday, January 4th. But I want to see you guys show up that same way on Monday, January 24th, because the reality is that the elements of today and the elements of the 24th are no different. Yes, with every single day, there's maybe like tiny different variables and different fires to put out. But people's lack of consistency is just appalling. I told you guys, and by the way, I wanna help you to set you guys up for success. And here's why we chose to do a 14-day challenge, okay? Because studies have shown, okay, that when people set a goal, 90% of them are going to fall off from pursuing that goal within 14 days. So we got how many registrants?
I've seen it year after year after year after year after year working in the gym. I was a personal trainer in a gym for over a decade. Over a decade I worked, and year after year after year. I see it. Y'all know, y'all regular gym goers, or used to be gym goers when gyms were open, saw it. You're there November, whatever the day before Thanksgiving. You're there in mid-November. You're there in the middle of summer. You're there at the end of the year, and then you know what's coming. You know, January 1st, or in this case, probably today, if gyms were open, everybody would be flooding in the gym. And that is because everybody's super excited. And then what happens is by the end of January, it's about like half of that amount of people. Mm-hmm. And then by March, it's like back to the people who were in the gym at the end of the year. Maybe a couple of extras. Probably the same amount though, because people move, whatever. You said something really interesting, and you were like, when you said, a lot of people said that this year sucked. Talking about 2020, this year sucked. And, you know, my brain started going, and I was like, why? And now, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not saying it wasn't a fucking roller coaster, okay? So don't hear me that, like, 2020 didn't have some extremely unfortunate events for a lot of people. I understand that. And I know some of them. So I ask myself, though, it seems like, because at the end of every year, it doesn't matter what year it is, always at the end of the year, man, I can't wait for a new year. Most people, this is not, hopefully this is not you guys. And the reason we do this show is because we don't want this to be you guys. So we talk about it so that it's not at the end of 2021. This is not going to be you saying, man, this year just blew. I'm ready for a restart. I'm ready for a reset. And I think it's because we get fatigue. we get annual fatigue because we set an expectation on this like yearly basis. Like, oh, this is a new start. Guess what? You have the opportunity to new start every single day. Somebody was like, oh yeah, what are your, whatever. It's good to set goals and expectations and things for, 2021 for yourself for each year. I think it is a good place for a reset. But just on a measurable basis, like what do you want to accomplish? And when we get to the end of the year, a lot of people just like, oh, I'm ready for a reset. Well, dude, you can reset just tomorrow. Every day is just a day. We are the ones who made up months and years and things like that, where it's just the sun goes down and then the sun comes up and it's all made of the same elements. There are variables, things change, sure. But what we have control over is ourselves and our responses to the things that are happening in our lives. And the things that are happening in our lives could be different than the things happening in somebody else's life. Most likely they are. Some could be extremely different. Some could be similar. But still different because our minds all process and operate differently. So when we're talking about like, I'm ready for a reset, I'm going to start a new year, or like this year sucked, you have to ask yourself like, well, why? Because it's your perception that this year sucked. There are a lot of people who, I would say probably 98% of the people who are in our inner circle program said this was the best year of their lives.
Yep.
Why? Because you focused on different things. And you get to choose what you focus on. Now, yes, society, media, current events, all of these things help shape and dictate what we focus on. But you can choose to include or exclude whatever you want. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Can I get an amen? Amen.
Amen, amen. Can I get an amen, amen,
amen? Amen. Amen.
So look, the reality is, and you guys are actually seeing this happen, like, in this very moment right now. The reality is that people overestimate what they can do in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in a decade. Naturally, especially because we do live in the 21st century. Hello Instacart, hello Amazon Prime, hello everything. Hello Alexa.
Hello pandemic. Careful.
Yeah,
she might enter in this conversation.
She's not in this room. But
I know somebody's Alexa just turned on. Alexa, play. And now she's saying, I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean. Oh, so good. That's okay, Alexa.
You should have asked her to play a Christmas song, because I'm pretty sure that all of us are Christmas songed out. But you know what? It's the truth, you guys. So people overestimate what they do in a year, but they underestimate what they do in a decade. And because we live in the 21st century, we live in a society that I would say almost like encourages that. So, to be patient and to be persistent is now even harder and harder. And it's up for us to change that. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to accept it. We have to accept that change of any kind is not going to happen overnight. It didn't start overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. Whatever it is that you want to accomplish in 2021. You may not accomplish all of that in 2021, but I guarantee you that if you're persistent and if you do your best, whether you know your goal is to achieve it by halfway during 2021 or by the end of 2021, who knows, maybe you'll end up achieving it by the end of 2022. What matters is that you keep showing up. Now, the reason why this is important, today we're starting this challenge. I guarantee you guys that most people are going to fall off every single day. Day number 5 is going to be the first big separator. Because when people face challenges, they give up.
Some people are probably like, what's day 5?
I don't give a shit.
You know what?
We do this on purpose.
There's people doing this challenge who have done this challenge before who know what's on day 5. We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Rule number 1 about Fight Club is we don't talk about Fight Club.
But you guys, we're all one day from having a difficulty. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Because every single year, we're going to hear this again in 2022, and we'll probably need to have the same exact conversation. 2021 was such a shit show. I can't wait for 2022. No, the way that you should end your year is, you know what? Shit happened in 2021, but it was my best year ever. And I have no regrets going into 2022.
Amen.
Man, when you operate life that way, when you execute that way, and you overcome and you rise above whatever adversity comes at you, then guess what? Life starts compounding. And you start achieving things that you won't have even thought of before. For example, right now, super happy and grateful. We have 108 people watching this live.
Insert emoji.
Some people, like Mark Fleek, for example, who has been in our community a year and a half ago.
When there was 0 people.
Like, Mark, you know this. Like, if we hit, double digits, we would be thrilled. But when you are so focused on whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, days are going to be tough. And you're going to have to persevere through it. Not 1 time, not 2 times, not 20 times, not 200 times. But you just accept the challenge and you go through it. And that's why it's really important to ask yourself before you do anything is, why am I doing this and what is my intention of this? Because your life is not going to change within 14 days. Your life's problems are not going to be resolved in 14 days. But if you persevere for 14 days and you give yourself the opportunity to continuously persevere, because life is going to continuously happen. And guess what? It's never going to be easier. You just keep getting better.
I want to, Kayla Hafley, you asked an amazing question. Can you do a huge favor for the whole community and ask that question in our survey for Q&A day, and we'll answer that. Hopefully we'll get on that one tomorrow. That would be a great topic. And then I want to also express my gratitude right now because I've seen a lot of comments that say because of 2020, I was introduced to you guys. And you know what? Because of 2020, we were also introduced to you. And it's been a huge blessing. And, the purpose of us talking about this topic is to get you to focus on the things that happen that were good. Every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year. There are good things that happen, and there are things that happen that we would prefer that they don't. So we think. But everything happens on purpose. Whether we perceive it as good or bad, everything happens on purpose. It is your job to find the purpose. And when you focus on that, you are instantly just lighter. I saw somebody say, the job market is the enemy. No, your mind is the enemy. Or your mind is your ally. Perception. Everything happens on purpose. Your job is to find the purpose. Why is it hard to find a job? What are you supposed to be focusing on that if you had a job, you wouldn't be able to focus on? These are the things you have to ask yourself. And you said something that said, I don't remember what it was, the precursor to it, but you said something about like just showing up each day. And in my mind, I said, okay, what does it mean to show up? What does it mean for us to show up? When we show up, that means we've done a good job. What does it mean to do a good job? What does showing up look like? So that we can help you guys. We say, oh, just show up, just show up, just show up. But what does that mean? Oh, what does that look like?
It depends on whatever is in your agenda. I'm going to give you guys some examples of us showing up when shit hit the fan. There were numerous times last year, not too long ago. Many of you guys were probably in the community when that happened. But, every once in a while somebody comes to a community with, maybe a destructive intention. And, we got hit with a rock, the entire community. And Erin and I kept on showing up, even though we were so emotionally drained, to the point where on that episode...
Do I see Erin Russell? Wait, that's not the Erin Russell. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
And on that day, we were just... Honestly, emotionally, we weren't ready to show up. But because we're so committed to show up, we showed up anyways. And then I had to do another live to apologize. You guys, life is what you make of it. Life is what you make of it. Good or bad, that's the story that we tell ourselves. And normally the story that we tell ourselves is that if we had set some kind of expectation and something didn't go our way, then it's bad. Is it really bad, or is it just your attitude that's bad? Because if you think about it from like a massive bird view angle, it just is. It just is. So what you have to do, if you want to rise above it all and achieve success of any kind in life, be it physically, be it financially, be it relationally, be it familially, be it spiritually, doesn't matter. You have to accept the fact that not every day is going to go as planned. But what are you going to do when a day like that shows up? Because it's bound to happen to all of us numerous times.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
I think it's essential.
Yeah.
If everything went well, if everything went according to plan, perfect.
Yeah, we had a conversation about it the other day.
Yeah. And you know what? You said, is it actually bad, or is your attitude bad? And I was like, well, sometimes things feel bad.
Yeah.
So, I often try to play the devil's advocate in my head to
You're
say,
right.
how would somebody object? But, it might feel bad. Does that mean it's bad? Or maybe not, it might feel bad, but it doesn't feel good. If you get punched in the face, chances are it doesn't feel good. Mm-hmm. But maybe there was a reason for you getting punched in the face. Yeah. And the reason is that there's a lesson to be learned. Y'all seen it in the movies. Guy hits on girl at a bar or something, she slaps him. Dude has a lesson to learn. Don't approach a girl like this. Right? So when life punches you in the face, ask yourself, what is the lesson I'm supposed to be learning? Look within yourself, because at the end of the day, whether it works or it doesn't, placebo effect is a real thing. So even if you're just asking yourself, hey, what's the purpose? what do I have control over? What do I need to do? How do I need to respond? What do I need to think in order to make this situation better? You now put yourself in control. Yeah. Imagine driving, imagine being in your car and your car's going and you have control of it, right? You got the steering wheel and you control the gas and the brake and the clutch or whatever, depending on what car you have. And you're driving and you're in control and you got the blinker. I'm going to go to the right lane. Beep, 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 beep. Look over your shoulder. I'm in control. Now imagine if you just fucking took all your shit off, all the stuff. How good would that feel? Sorry, I almost hit you, I feel
That's
like.
okay.
How would that feel? Completely out of control. I can't touch the wheel. I can't control where the car goes. I'm gonna crash. But if you can think that, what do I have control over? Then you give yourself the ability to regain that control. You can't control what the cars are doing in the lanes next to you, behind you. You can't control if an airplane lands on the fucking freeway in front of you. All you can do is you. Always. 100% of the time. So even though something might feel bad, always go back to, what do I have control over? Let me make my decisions and let my reactions be according to that.
And I want to add something to that. Why it is your obligation to want to have as much control over what's happening. Because so many things are outside of your control. The reason why it is your obligation to gain control is because when you do that, you create this thing called confidence. And when you create this thing called confidence, that's something that nobody can take away from you. If you've been in our community long enough, by the way, if you came to our community in 2020 and we made a positive impact on you and on your body, can you please drop a comment and tell us how much weight you've lost? But I guarantee you that for any of these people, I just saw Conti's face, so it made me think about Conti, and I told Conti this, and I'll keep on saying it over and over and over again. I remember who she was during our first conversation and who she is right now and who she's gonna be
100%.
This summer. And when you answered the email this weekend and we had a conversation, I'm like, don't think about it this way, because you're not going back. You're not the same person that you were before. So so just stop thinking about it. Stop putting energy into it. But if you're like Conti, for example, and you have already gained the tools that you've gained, you've persevered, whatever it is that you've persevered, there's no going back. And that feeling, nobody can take that away from you, ever.
You own that. It belongs to you.
And that level of confidence, man, it's priceless, because it changes your life. It changes anything and everything that you do, whether it's, at your job, whether it's, if you're a mom or a dad with your kids, whether it's with your spouse, everything changes. And that's why we say when it comes to weight loss, it's not about the weight that you lose, but who you become in the process. Okay, I want to read some of the comments.
Okay, what did you just say? You said right before you turned to the side. What were the words that you said?
Why it is your obligation? Confidence? I don't remember.
Shoot. I want to get to confidence. There's a little bit of a gap between taking control of a situation, regaining your control, and finding that confidence. It's game plan, take action. Be consistent, and you will gain confidence. There's one that I missed also, momentum. So to take control, which means you change your thought, like, what do I have control over? Make a game plan for what you can actually do to change a situation or make the situation better. 3 is take action on the game plan. Be consistent in the action that you're taking, which will build momentum, which will increase your confidence. That's how you get from taking control, the thought of what do I have control over, to gaining confidence. When Sarit and I walk in a room, we demand it. By default, not because we want to walk in a room and be arrogant assholes and be like, look at me and how fucking cool I am. It's just this thing, it's this energy that lives within us because of the amount of shitstorms we've overcome and proven to ourselves. Nothing will be greater. Proving something to somebody else will never equal in value you proving something to yourself.
Oof. Can you say it again if you remember? That was powerful.
You proving something to somebody else will never be equal in value to you proving that same thing to yourself.
Amen.
Because every day you wake up with you. Guaranteed. Nobody else, nothing else is guaranteed. You're not guaranteed to wake up in your house. You're not guaranteed to wake up with your dog. You're not guaranteed to wake up with your spouse. You're not guaranteed to wake up with your one night stand. You're not guaranteed to wake up with anybody but you. Who's ready for 2021? I feel good. And not to mention, Sarit and I have had, in the last several weeks, I would say the last month, several discussions on, feelings that have been hurt between one another, miscommunications that we've had between one another, maybe disagreements or frustrations expressed with and because of one another. And we have to just keep learning. That shit doesn't feel good. But every day there's an opportunity to get better. And the only way that you can get better is if you understand that you're the only one to blame if you don't. You wanted to read some comments? I took over.
I feel like so many comments came through. That's okay. Maybe we can take a look at it later. Okay, I want to say something that just came to me, and it's super powerful. Progress of any kind magnifies. It magnifies the things that you're good at. It magnifies
the problems you find,
the opportunities that you have. And that's why it's so easy to give up. How many times you've seen people who started dropping some weight and then they gave up? Why?
Went back to old habits.
Your areas of opportunity got magnified. It's easier to give up. And guess what? The more progress you make, now the more areas of opportunity are going to be exposed to you.
It compounds, compound effect.
Yeah, so it compounds for better or for worse. And that's why success is a funny thing, because everybody says, I want to lose weight, I want to be successful, I want to blah, blah, blah. I'm like, are you up for the challenge? Because everybody wants to see what, the view looks like from the top of the mountain, but not everybody is willing to climb through the trenches in order to get there.
And not everybody has the lung capacity for how thin the air is at the top.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to this concept of wanting results fast. Because guess what? If you have terrible eating habits and you get a surgery, and this is not to hate on anybody who's had any kind of fat loss surgery. This is an example, but it's a proven example because it's happened many times. When you have terrible eating habits and you get gastric bypass, or you get liposuction, or you get something that takes away a bunch of fat all at once, and you're like, yeah, amazing, but you haven't changed your habits, nothing's going to change. You're going to go right back to where you were, but even worse now because you've altered your body. The air is thin at the top, and the only way to stay at the top, sustainability, is to build your way up to the top, is to earn that shit.
Yeah.
Liposuction ain't earning it.
No.
Winning the lottery is not earning it. You win the lottery, you're going to be broke as fuck. You're probably going to be worse off than you even were, because then you start to develop a lifestyle that you haven't earned. And then you can't pay for it anymore. So if you want to stay at the top, if you want sustainability, enjoy the process. And know that it's okay to stop at checkpoints and breathe a little bit. You don't have to just like sprint to the top. As long as you're making, dude, forward progress is forward progress. Doesn't matter how fast you're going. It's one of my favorite things to say. Forward progress is forward progress. It does not matter how fast you go. I'm sure there's some instances where it will, and somebody's going to be like, yeah, well, if this or that. Shut up. You understand the point. I've been hearing so much about like cancel culture lately that like, and you and I had this conversation about like me having developed some kind of filter. And I'm like, you know what? If I believe something and somebody in our community doesn't believe the same thing, but it has nothing to do with the way that we can help them, it doesn't need to be said, because then it blocks me from being able to help somebody. And so I'm just over it. Like, if you want to disagree with what I have to say, like, okay, go find your people. Bye.
Yeah.
Anyways, side note.
So,
Sarit likes to call slow pace, your slow pace.
Curtis the Turtis.
Curtis the Turtis.
It's a thing. You guys know it. It's a thing. So,
Be the Turtis.
in life, you might not have control over everything. But in life, you always have control over your response. Mm-hmm. And your response is the most powerful tool you can ever have. And your response starts and ends here. Okay? So the point of this conversation is to set you guys up for success for 2021, because everybody says, new year, new me, this year's gonna be great. But yeah, why is it gonna be great?
Prove it.
Like, and step one with regards to creating change of any kind is awareness. But you can't become aware of something if you can't accept it. So accept the fact that 2021 is gonna be another shitstorm.
Every day there's a shitstorm.
Yeah. But commit to understanding the fact that you might not have control over everything. Hopefully you can commit to living a life where you can have more control so that you're less dependent, because boy, you're one step closer to freedom. But there's one thing that you always have control over, and that is your response. Whether something is fortunate or unfortunate, that's a story that we create in our own head.
The beauty is too, your response is a choice.
Yeah.
You get to choose it.
Yeah.
And it's also a responsibility, because that choice doesn't belong to anybody but you.
Your response is a responsibility.
It's a responsibility.
Ooh.
Yeah. My hair really needs to be done, but all the salons closed.
Coronavirus. See? 2020 got our hair looking like shit. That's why I'm wearing a beanie. Beanie hair don't care.
This is called quarantine hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Embrace it.
All right, you guys.
On my shin is tattooed, embrace the fight. And it's been there for, I think it's been there for at least 8 years. Mm-hmm. Embrace the fight. Shit goes sideways all the time. Mm-hmm. Give it a big old hug. Oh, I used this analogy before. if you've watched UFC or you've watched any kind of fighting, like if you're at a certain distance and you're at that reach, like you're going to get knocked in the jaw or in the side of the dome. Mm-hmm. But when you see it coming at you and you go into it and you just give it a big old hug, you can't get punched if you're that close to it. So embrace it, wrap it up, and then wrap it up. You know what I mean?
I am 12?
No.
Oh,
Like-
I thought I understood a joke that you're trying to say. 2021 will be the year where Sarit starts to understand Erin's jokes. Hopefully,
That's
maybe.
amazing.
I don't know.
Hey, you guys, thank you so much for being here with us today. I hope you had as much fun as we did having this conversation, engaging and listening to this conversation. It's absolutely incredible that there's this many of you here. And you know what? A year ago, we knew the impact we were going to make. And 10 years from now, we know the impact that we're going to make. It's so cool to see that it's really coming to life and that you guys are here and wanting to gain from this. And that's all we can hope to deliver to you is more value all the time. So yeah. Thank you guys so much. I do want to say, I'm just going to drop this here with no shame. If you are interested in training in any of our coaching programs that we have that are more individualized, please reach out to admin@erinandsarit.com. We'll start that conversation. Opening that conversation doesn't commit you to anything. It just opens the conversation because we're really here to help. And there are a lot of things that we can do above and beyond just what you see here. If this is free, imagine what happens if you invest in the programs that we offer. So thank you guys so much for being here. Do you have anything else?
Yes, for anybody who is new to the show, we run this show live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Tomorrow,
except for on special, there will be some probably special occasions sometime
there are
throughout the
special
year.
occasions where we would just want to pop up and do extra stuff for you guys, get used to it. And, obviously there are days when we're traveling and we're unavailable. So if there's ever a cancellation, though we're very consistent, we do our best to show up regardless of what time zone we're in because we are committed to you guys. And we also know that consistency of anything in life is key. And we are here to make a big impact. One of actually our one-on-one clients was asking us a question and we were telling him about our mission and he's like, I've never heard you guys speak about your mission.
Let's deliver.
So if you guys are watching this for the first time, the reason why we're so consistent is because we're on a mission to transform the lives of millions through the same movement, nutrition, lifestyle, and financial habits that have transformed ours. Okay? Please do us a favor. If you found today's episode useful, just go ahead and share it with somebody who you think will benefit from being a part of this community. Our mission is massive because we know that we have the answer that the world needs to hear. Now, whether they choose to hear it or not, that's up to them.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, please do yourself, do the community, and do us a favor by hitting the subscribe button and turning on your notifications. Because for one, you want to get notified when we drop another show. For two, the more people who subscribe to our channel, I'll just be honest, the more random people that see it. The more random people who need it will see it. And so that's very important that you press that subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, hop over to YouTube, check out Erin and Sarit. Just search Erin and Sarit and subscribe to that YouTube channel because the world needs to hear what we have to deliver to make this a better place.
Yeah, tomorrow, you guys, is Q&A day. If this is your very first time, this is on the show. Tuesdays are Q&A days. Basically, this is where we just answer your questions, and all you gotta do to ask your question is just answer the form. Lauren, I saw that you dropped the link for the form. If you can do so right now, that'll be amazing.
We'll also make sure it's up on the main page in the feed today, and if you still miss it, it's in the announcements section of the Facebook page.
Yeah.
So if you click see more, you'll find the form in there.
And I just want to put it out there too. I feel like sometimes people who want to ask a question are like, you know what? But what if this is a bad question? Look, the worst question is the one that you never asked. Okay, so there's no such thing as a bad question. Just be courageous. As long as you put the question out there, we will answer it. We answer it on a first come, first serve basis. So know that we don't skip any of the questions. We just go based off in a chronological order. Whoever asked first, we answer and we move on and on and on throughout the episodes. So that being said, today's day one of the Transformation Kickstarter Challenge. Today is the first episode of 2021. We're super stoked to have you guys spend a small portion of your morning with us. We know that your time is very valuable. So our goal is to 10x the amount of value that we can add to your morning through these conversations. That being said, you guys, we hope that you have a beautiful day and week ahead. And hopefully we will catch you tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time.
Bye, guys.